Hola, mi gente. I'm Philip Johnson. Happy New Year. Welcome to Una Soul's Chat with Brigida Toruño.
Sí, feliz año nuevo. Feliz año nuevo. Happy 2021. Woo!
Wow,
Hello, Philip.
we're here. We're on the other side.
Yes, we did it. We made it. It's a joyful moment.
Absolutely. We'll have plenty to talk about coming up for the next month. In January, Una Soul's Chat, our theme is refresh. And we'll get more into that a little bit later. For those who are new, Uno Soul's Chat, we are a weekly podcast that honors beacon of lights in our community, spotlighting true acts of kindness.
Yeah, we really hope to shed light on how we are not alone in our journey and explore ways to help with coping and finding joy along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And this week's chat is with Tea Circle Group, which I know is a group of women that you chat with, I think, weekly.
That's right. We started through COVID. We've known each other for a long time, and we've chatted for many weeks, once a week. And they have been a lifeline for me. And, I hope it's an example to people of how others have been coping and, and giving hope to everybody else.
Yeah, I think especially as we kick off January, technically our second season of Una Soul's Chat.
Yeah.
And we are talking about refresh throughout the month. There are definitely moments in the conversation where people talk about that, what they find refreshing and what they're looking forward to, what they've learned. And it's just sort of like a really great way to start this new season and also just going into 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so let's just get right in, listen to what everyone has to say, and I'm excited.
Great, thanks. Me too. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? My name is Brigida Toruño. Welcome to Uno Soul's Chat. Today, I am so honored to have these beautiful ladies with me, the Tea Circle ladies, and they have been extra special to me through COVID. They have been one of my lifelines for sure. At the end of March, we all started chatting on Zoom once a week, and it has been just wonderful. There's only half of us here today on our Zoom call, and there's usually more, but basically it's open to whoever can join each week. So it has really been lovely. So how are you doing, ladies?
Great. Wonderful. Thanks for letting us join.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining. I'd love to know, how have you all been doing through these surreal times of the pandemic? And how about Lida?
Well, it's been a really trying time especially for meeting planners, event planners like us. And so we've learned to pivot basically, and now we're doing a lot of virtual events, and it's a lot more challenging than normal events that you would do, because there's a technology aspect that we really did not take into consideration before. And it looks like, well, we've done well. I've done several this year, basically the last 6 weeks. So it's been crazy. But yeah, I mean, we're doing well.
Good.
We're
Great.
coping.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. How about Laura?
Yeah, it's been a challenging year for me, even without COVID. I've had some personal things go on in my life that have been challenging. And I really go back to one of my firm's corporate values when I start to think about how overwhelming and how how much anxiety you can have. And we have a term that we call gravity. It in our work day, but I've extended it to my personal life. And it's really the fact that you really can't change gravity. And there's things in your work life, there's things in your personal life that are basically gravity. And that helps you to just remember to focus on the things that you can change. And there's going to be things that happen to all of us that are out of our control, like COVID. And we have to just go, okay, accept that, and then change the way we react to it rather than trying to change the actual event. So that has really, really helped me.
I love that, Laura. I hadn't heard you talk about that, about gravity. I love that. I want to start thinking that way.
It's just a really helpful thing to just go, it's gravity.
Yeah.
You all know some of the things that have happened in my life, and my coworkers, they're like, how are you handling all of this? And I would just say, it's just a big lesson in gravity for me. So it's helped me try to be positive most of the time. And
right.
And I think it works.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
How about Michelle?
Well, when I hear the commercials, we're all in this together. Being a part of this Zoom group has really showed me, everybody's going through something, everybody, and we're, we talk about these things on the call, and it's really provided a lot of support. There have been times when people needed other opinions on how to deal with a problem. And, everybody would throw in their ideas, and it was great. And lots of times when we would laugh, and God, we definitely needed to laugh this year. And sometimes it was hard to find that because, if you're working alone or living alone, or, living with one other person or something, you might have a dog or a cat that makes you laugh, but, the opportunities have been a little bit limited this year. So the calls have really been beneficial and very helpful.
Yeah.
So I thank everybody for that.
Yeah, thanks so much, Michelle. And how about Kathy?
I can relate to everything people are saying. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of stressors, a lot of adjustments aside from COVID and everything that goes with that for me. I went from working with lots of people all the time, which I'd done for my life, and now I'm retired and I'm alone in my house most of the time. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of the adjustments and all the stressors of life that have come into play. And I really do appreciate the support and the connection that I get with the group. And I just take it a day at a time. I try to, eat reasonably well and sleep reasonably well and keep it positive and, look for the silver linings, I guess you could say, because it seems like they're always there.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Kathy. And actually, speaking of silver linings, I'd love it if we could all mention what silver linings that you found in this year. And I'll go ahead and start with Lida again.
Well, I think the thing I've always told everybody in my house is that, this COVID being on lockdown like this, I think is, in a way, is good for the environment because no one is driving. No one is, doing all the stuff that pollutes the earth. And so it's kind of a blessing in that case. Because,
That's right.
You just find something that it's, wow, I could actually, it's my daughter even said the other day, well, when she came back home, she said, oh, I can hear birds.
Oh, yes.
In New York City.
Okay.
So it was great because there are not a lot of cars because they can't. they can't drive. So yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It really seems like the earth had the opportunity for a little reset, and like
Yeah.
it took a deep breath, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Lida. How about you, Laura? What do you see as a silver lining?
Well, a really big silver lining for me is this group. And
Mm,
I don't live in the DC area. I'm the only one that's not, physically close to you all.
Right.
And so for me, it has been really the opportunity to not just rekindle friendships that some are 40 years old,
wow.
but also, to meet you, Brigida, and some of the other people in the group that I had not met before. And I feel, um, I've always been a proponent of strong female friendships.
Mm.
It's been a lifeline for me throughout my life. And
Mm,
it's been really full of joy to meet new friends at this point in my life. I thought I probably had all my friends for life. And then also to just really have those friendships that, we all used to work together every day. So many of us on the call, and we were in and out of everyday life, which is different when you live somewhere else. And even you all are separated by some distance, even though you're closer, you don't see each other every day. And it's just been a great joy for me to have those friendships really come back into the fold. And be part of my, every week. I look forward to this call. You all have helped me in many, many ways that you probably don't even know. And there's been, the ability for me to reach out to people even individually and build friendships, closer friendships, and support them in things that they're going through that I probably wouldn't have had the same frequency of that. So this has been a silver lining for me for sure to have these friendships come back. I mean, I knew people were always out there and that we all still really cared about each other, but to actually talk every week, I miss it when I'm not able to get on the call. I miss it when people aren't on the call. And I think the thing that's the greatest part about it is we just really laugh a lot. Joy and those endorphins into our brain when we laugh. So that's just been a really, really positive for me. So
yeah. Thank you, Laura. And actually, to tell the viewers and listeners, the Tea Circle ladies, most of the ladies in the group work together for a company called Circle. And please interject anybody if I'm saying
The
it
Circle
wrong.
Inc.
The Circle Inc.
Yes.
And was it a special events company?
It was
a government contracting firm that focused on health related contracts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had contracts with Public Health Service, NIH, National Health Service Corps. So it was trainings, it was meeting planning. We did some support work for a clearinghouse on maternal and child health. So it ran a gamut.
Sudden infant death. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like it was an awesome company, and they're filled with, beautiful, talented, intelligent, wise ladies, and that you all kept up your friendships through the years. And then I was lucky to meet one of the Tea Circle ladies and 7 years ago. And so she, and it was like you all had these wonderful teas twice a year. And I was, and she, we talked about how much I love tea. And so that I was invited, and I felt so lucky to be invited. And then you all just embraced me, and I felt so lucky. And there's another lady in our group who is also newer to the group like I am, and did not work for the Circle group. But I just wanted to be sure everybody understood sort of the background of, and the depth of the friendships. So Michelle, could you please tell us the silver lining?
Sure. Well, I echo a lot of the things that Laura said, you know, just the breadth of the friendships, and it really, it's a community. And I've thought a lot about the word community in life. And you know, as I start looking towards retirement, that's a word that's really important to me, because I think it's critical for a lot of things, you know, your mental health, your physical health, you know, having that support. And I definitely feel that with this group, and it's such a blessing. Um, and so during this time, you know, it's been one where I've done a lot of reflection, and I've used various methods. I journal a lot. I read, and I even have some cards that I'll pick one at night before I go to bed to read, and it's called Wisdom of the Crone.
Oh.
And so they just have, you know, different things about, you know, risk, sharing, joy. So you just pick a card and read it. And it's funny because I picked a couple of them to share today. And one of them that I had to laugh at because it's called friendship. And so they put a couple, there's a diagram of a couple women there.
Nice.
But it's funny because it says friendship. And the first sentence is laughing over a cup of tea.
Ah.
So it says laughing
That's
over a
meant
cup
for us.
I know, isn't it? Yeah,
Perfect.
it's perfect. So it says laughing over a cup of tea, the world falls away. A phone call at midnight, assured of a kind ear. Love and trust must hold hands to survive. Often our family of choice consists of our close friends. Without them, our lives would not be complete. Appreciate companionship, nurture it. And I feel like that's really, really what we've done. You know, we've made a commitment to these calls, to each other. And, you know, it's just strengthened our community. We've learned a lot about each other, you know, that was hard, you know, you don't really necessarily get to that when you're just, you know, getting together, you know, a few times a year because of, you know, our little bit of distance and everybody's busy and whatever. So these have been really, really good.
Yeah.
Michelle,
Mhm.
I think you need to edit the card to say a cup of tea, a cup of margaritas, wine.
A glass of wine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, one of the glasses that I would bring to our weekly call is one that Lida gave us one time when we got together.
Right.
One of the people in the group, she retired. It's not Kathy, but another woman, and Lida gave us glasses that said "Happy Hour." So when we've been doing our calls, they're usually around 5 o'clock or so, and hey, it's happy hour.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's been great. How about you, Kathy, for silver linings?
I think that the way that things have slowed down has been really, I've really enjoyed that. And I don't know that we would ever be able to find a day of the week that we could spend an hour with each other had
Yeah.
it not been for this. And it really has been a special time. And, you know, for these work-related friendships that went back 40 years and have gone on and included different things. And the company was also unique in that it was a woman-owned, woman-managed company. I would say that maybe 80% of the people that worked there were women.
Oh, I didn't
And we
realize
had
that.
babies there. We had babies. We didn't, everybody that had one couldn't bring one, but it was just, that's an example of the different kind of way that we approached things. We exercised together. We had a lunchroom. We would do things with family and, you know, in friends, go to the beach, or, you know, we were younger and those things were all possible.
Yeah.
And this time to rekindle the friendships and go into our older years together after all this time has just been great. It's just been great.
Oh,
I
that's
really value
wonderful.
it.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that it was a woman-owned company. And I mean, it sounds like it was like way way before its time, you know, in terms of the innovation.
Absolutely. And we did a lot of things together. I mean, the company also owned a townhouse in Annapolis. And so you get to sign up for a weekend. And every time one of us would get the weekend, all of us will go and we'll have a party, basically.
How fun.
It was a lot of fun. We did that, and it's just outside of work, and because we were friends. I mean,
And
yeah.
And spouses would come to
Yes.
Annapolis, so we got to know each other's spouses.
Yeah.
Volleyball together.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great work experience. Probably we never found that again in our lives for most of us, because
It sounds like it. Very unique.
But
And this was
Brigida, they were so inventive. We had early in the AIDS crisis, we had a coworker who had AIDS, and they allowed all of us to give our sick leave. We could donate our sick leave to that person at our hourly rate. So didn't make a ton of money. So, you know, other people's hourly rate might be 3 hours to him. So it was just kind of an interesting thing, because that was early 80s and companies didn't do those kinds of things for their employees.
That's right.
It's a great company to work for. I mean, they were involved in everybody's, you know, they knew the people that worked for them. So it was like a family. I mean, this guy is right here. Gosh, we've known each other 35 plus years. I mean, honestly, it's like.
And you know what? I feel like it really speaks to the power of work culture.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, we've moved away from some of the things that really make for not only a healthy work culture, but that feed back into society. And the slowing down, I think, has sort of helped, and people are now looking at some of these things that are maybe a little more critical than, you know, run. And, you know, we took time. I don't remember how often, maybe it was once a month, but we took work time on a Friday to have a happy hour. And it was rotated around departments so that people got really creative. You know, we had beach parties. People brought in their blankets, and we had a tie party where people wore ties. Whatever, just kind of creative. But the fact that the leadership saw the importance of doing those things, it created that culture, and it created what we still have now with our friendships. I mean, it and I'd say anybody, you know, if you're listening to this call, and Brigida, you have your own business, it's important.
Yeah. That is a really good reminder. I mean, obviously, right now with a lot of people having to work from home, it might be a little more challenging to figure out how to create that culture or cultivate it, you know, continue to cultivate. If maybe you were doing that before COVID, but definitely very eye-opening for us business owners to look at that once we're in post-COVID and gathered again.
I can't imagine starting a new job during COVID where everybody you work with, you don't ever meet them face to face.
Yeah.
That's a challenge that many businesses are facing with COVID. They bring on new employees and you can't really meet your people. You can't go to lunch with them. You can't walk them around and introduce them to people. So I think it's even more important now to reach out and figure out ways to connect. And we worked really hard at the Circle too. So people who that would have been a great place to work. It sounds like all they did was have happy hour. Really hard, but we were rewarded for that hard work by this great company culture.
Great.
Yes, I agree.
during this time, I came up, well, I mean, it's not that I came up with it, but what came into my mind was the phrase of savoring the deliciousness. And so, for me, I mean, it came up, I was having this conversation on the phone, the old fashioned way. And it was just this beautiful conversation, and I don't think that we have, at least I hadn't really stopped to have beautiful conversations on the phone with people like I used to maybe years ago, right? And I think it's due to the fact that we were able to slow down, and it just was so nice, and it resonated with me for several days, and then I thought, oh, that's like a moment of savoring the deliciousness. So it's not so much to me about food, but it can be, the deliciousness, savoring food. But I wondered if you all have had a moment like that, that you can think of during these past few months. Lida, does anything come up for you?
Savoring the deliciousness. I like that. Well, this calls, it's a spur of the moment. What happened was like I said, we were doing tea twice a year, and this happened like around March, and we're like, well, we have a tea coming and we can't do this because we're locked down, so let's try Zoom. And I think it was the greatest idea ever. And
Yeah.
it's like, and it's not just doing it because we wanted to see what it was like, but I think, like Michelle said, it was something that you look forward to, but also you take something out of it. Everybody comes out of it really invigorated, I think.
Enriched.
Enriched. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of times where I can't call in because I'm doing something else, and it's like, I missed that. But then we also have the text group, which is great, because if I missed that, I sort of figured out, oh, that's what they talked about. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
so yes, it's wonderful. It's great to have friendship like this, and I don't think, like Laura said, I don't think I'm ever gonna find that again, because this is cultivated years. We've
Yeah.
known each other for that long, and it's and we've done so many things together, and went through a lot together, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Lida. Yeah, I have found each one of you to be just the kindest ladies, just the kindest ladies. And I have always appreciated that and saw that from the very beginning. So I'm very grateful for the group. How about you, Laura?
It's funny. I think about this group and I think, okay, what's going to happen post-COVID? We've made this really good connection. And when our lives, are we going to stop and let our lives get back to that busy, crazy work all the time, not finding times for our friends and even our family, right? I know I've connected more with family that I've never spent Christmas with before, cousins and things. I mean, we're going to Zoom on Christmas, and it's not because we are used to getting together. It's that we feel this need to reach out and connect more to people in general. So I thought about that, and I hope that we don't stop this after COVID, when lives get busy again. And maybe we won't meet every week, but it is something that does nourish me every time I get on the phone. I love the exchange. I mean, we'll talk about food. You talk about food being delicious, and our gourmet isn't on today.
Right.
Yeah.
She'll send us recipes. She'll talk, oh, I'm going to fix this for dinner tonight. And we're all like, oh, what time can we do? So it's really nice. And people are really open to sharing the things that they do and they love, and teach us how to do different kinds of artwork. And it's gone beyond just these Saturday or Sunday phone calls, these once a week calls. And it's just a really, really great connection. And I think the whole community, as opposed to just, these are my friends, has been, it has created a community. And I hope that we all continue to have this, and that when Lisa, who's not here, says, let's all go to Italy, I hope we can do that. Those are things we can look forward to. So I'm thankful for this, but I'm also excited that this is going to be part of my life going forward. I hope.
Yeah.
You will.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Laura. How about you, Michelle?
Well, there has been a lot of conversation on these calls about food. Let's just face it. And, especially in the early days when, we couldn't find certain things, and people were like, well, where do you find flour, and where did you find da-da-da, And so, I'm, people have said, lovely, eloquent things about, deliciousness. I'm just going to go to basics. Peruvian chicken from Wegmans.
Yes.
With the green sauce. It is my new favorite thing. I've been introducing it to everybody. I've been telling everybody about it.
And we learned about it on our call.
Here, yes.
I did.
I can't get it.
Oh.
We might have to send some to you on dry ice or something.
Yeah, I know.
Or you'll have to come to DC. But it's but we've had time to cook and discover new foods, and so it's been fun to share that with everybody.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Michelle. How about you, Kathy?
I love these calls, and today I'm feel moved to remember that on the 30th anniversary of that company's getting together, I talked to the human resources person about what she noticed was different. And she says, I have never been in human resources that I didn't spend most of my day solving problems. She says, in this company, we're figuring out how to grow together and learn new skills and move in new directions. And I just never forgot that, and I'm moved to say it today. And I'm moved to remember that company started at a time, I remember that I couldn't get a credit card. They didn't send them in the mail like they do now. And as a woman, getting credit, even though I had my banked at the bank, the company banked at the bank, I ended up taking a man who was a higher up person in the company with me to the bank to sign for me to get a credit card as a woman.
Wow.
It really speaks to what that company did at a time that those kinds of things weren't easy to do, and what a great place it was, and it still is, as evidenced by how we're still growing together and learning together.
Yeah. That's great. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I'm just so grateful that we were able to have this recording and this chat today. This is a time I just feel that we should all be gentle with ourselves. I think that this past year has really proven just how we are just one humanity, and really worldwide we were going through the same sorts of worries or joys or emotions, that everybody was going through. And this is a time for all of us to be able to unite, to find some peace, and to give out love to ourselves and to everybody. Again, I'm grateful to each of you. Thank you so much for joining me. I honor the light in each of you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks
putting this out in the world.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Uno Souls Chat. You can find us at www.unosouls.com and on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I would love to hear from you if you would like to chat with me. Have a beautiful week and see you at the next episode.